release all the Epstein stuff, and indict all the globalists. Attack, attack, attack. Indict Fauci for gain of function. We have him. Indict him for lying to Congress. We have him. He ran conferences called In Support of Gain of Function and then said, I've never been involved in gain of function. We have his emails where they were souping up the viruses. That's gain of function. We have Peter Daszak, the head of the group, under Fauci's funding, saying in 2019 that they were mutating SARS coronaviruses on TV. Indict them. Indict them. But you've got the deep state that Bill Barr and Comey and Mueller put in there. And they're to protect the agencies, protect the establishment. The establishment is collapsing. Anyone trying to prop it up is a fool. It's going down. The only question is, will Trump let them take him with them and us along with them? Not that if Trump gets implicated in this, it hurts anybody that supported him. He's been hands down by the Democrats. We'll go where the truth is. No. War, famine, economic collapse. That's how they take us with them. You better pray Trump isn't involved in this. But if anything real comes out, he is. We'll cover it. But remember how much fake stuff we've seen. Be careful. But everybody's always talked about how Trump doesn't let people get things on him. Trump doesn't let people set him up. Trump doesn't let people frame him. Trump doesn't, and why would he do the exact thing he's never done? I mean, hey, I don't want to be peed on. But if I was a big real estate billionaire, I flew over some business deal in Russia. If I liked being peed on, I wouldn't go to a hotel and go, here, let me have some hookers piss on me so I'm blackmailed by the Russians. Why the hell would you do that? It's ridiculous, folks. And then we know Trump's backstory, that he's a germaphobe. And that when I see you destroy yourself and me along with you, I'm going to get in your grill. And this is what Trump's doing behind the scenes, just so you know. I mean, literally. Go ahead and turn the audio up. Oh, my goodness.
Break a frickin' slugger putz. You crazy rockin' bracken varmint rabbit! Come out of there, you butter spittin' as a trap roll! Ooh! Dirty suited battle strally crit. Frickin' paracotta slaughter and a paracotta fucking you recuperated friend throwing man bibs while you couldn't find money and a rock.
So we got some notes from Epstein like that I think, okay, that's a Trump note. Don't you love these weak son of a bitch and liars? We're going to beat these fucking scum. That's a conversation with Trump. We'll just keep doing what you're fucking doing. Sorry to cuss, folks. You want to hear what the president really talks like sometimes behind the scenes? To other men, that's what he sounds like. Not, oh, you're my enigma, my little secret cupcake baby lover. Your little booty is so delicious. All right, let's start going to what Trump said today. Finally getting articulate about it. Listen to this.
You have not been briefed on the Epstein files, or your name has not appeared in the Epstein files. But doesn't the AG have to tell you if your name is in the files?
I haven't been overly interested in it. You know, it's a hoax that's been built up way beyond proportion. I can say this, those files were run by the worst scum on earth. They were run by Comey, they were run by Garland, they were run by Biden and all of the people that actually ran the government, including the auto pen. Those files were run for 4 years by those people. If they had anything, I assume they would have released it. The whole thing is a hoax. They ran the files. I was running against somebody that ran the files. If they had something, they would have released. Now, they can easily put something in the files that's a phony. Like, as an example, Christopher Steele, a person you know well, happens to be from your country. But Christopher Steele, as an example, wrote a book, a dossier. We call it the fake news dossier. And the whole thing was a fake. The whole thing was a fake. They could put things in the file that are fake, but those files were run by bad, sick people. If they had anything, why didn't they use it when I was killing Joe and then he gave out because he was 25 points down? And then I got somebody new. Nobody even knew anything about her. She was a horrible vice president. She was our border czar, but she never went to the border. She never once called a border patrol agent to find out how we do. But she was the border czar. Her name was Kamala. Nobody knows her last name. It was Harris, but nobody knew her last name. So I ended up, how would you like to end up in a race where you're killing somebody, you're beating him, and then they say, all right, we'll take him out. He's not working. Let's put somebody else. And then she had a 6-week honeymoon. It was amazing. They predicted she would have a 6-week honeymoon, and she did. And then she got slaughtered.
Do you feel that?
But think of it. Those files were run by these people. They were run by my enemy. If there was anything in there, they would have used them for the election.
Do you feel
Is that drawing that, I think I heard you say something the other day, that the drawing that was the subject of the Wall Street Journal report.
I don't do drawings. I'm not a drawing
Do
person.
you think it was fraudulent?
I don't do drawings.
Is it in your name?
Sometimes people say, would you draw a building and I'll draw 4 lines and a little roof, for a charity sum. But I'm not a drawing person. I don't do drawings of women, that I can tell you. They say there's a drawing of a woman, and I don't do drawings of women. And also, Epstein was always a very controversial guy. I was at a very high position, pretty much all my life. In all fairness, I've been doing this for a long time. I had the top show on television. I had the #1 bestsellers. I had everything, right? And I was a very successful business guy. He was a very controversial. Who would do a controversial drawing? Now, with that being said, they say there were many letters done by many people, and many big people, big successful people. But I just don't. When you talk about files, I just keep going back, and other people too. Even the enemy says this thing is not correct, because if we had it, we would have used it on the guy. It's a bad issue. They say it's a good issue for Trump. Do you know that my poll numbers are up 4.5 points since this ridiculous Epstein stuff? My poll numbers have gone up 4.5 points because people don't buy it. Okay, people don't buy it. And he's gone, and we want to focus on trade deals. I want to focus on the deal we just made with the European Union, which is the biggest trade deal in history. It's the biggest deal, I think, in history, not just trade deal. So if they would have had something, they would have used it.
And people keep running stories at the time you threw him out of Mar-a-Lago. Can you settle that? What was it about? What caused the breach with him?
That's such old history. Very easy to explain, but I don't want to waste your time by explaining it. But for years, I wouldn't talk to Jeffrey Epstein. I wouldn't talk because he did something that was inappropriate. He hired help. And I said, don't ever do that again. He stole people that worked for me. I said, don't ever do that again. He did it again. And I threw him out of the place, persona non grata. I threw him out, and that was it. I'm glad I did, if you want to know the truth.
Mr. President,
And by the way, I never went to the island, and Bill Clinton went there supposedly 28 times. I never went to the island, but Larry Summers, I hear, went there. He was the head of Harvard. And many other people that are very big people. Nobody ever talks about them. I never had the privilege of going to his island. And I did turn it down, but a lot of people in Palm Beach were invited to his island. In one of my very good moments, I turned it down. I didn't want to go to his island.
According to Rasmussen, it did hurt. He's bounced back. And some polls do show him even higher on the trade deals and the rest of it. But here's the CNN reporter getting fact-checked.
This is the downside of the strategy that he has imported that got him elected. His entire strategy with the Epstein files was to try to give people the strong impression that this was Bill Clinton, this was Democrats, this was something that they were trying to hide. And now that this is all turned on him, he won't be able to convince his base that this is a transparent investigation at all. Like, I don't know what it would take for them to believe that there's no cover-up. I mean, you've convinced a lot of these people. Part of your whole spiel is that the government isn't to be trusted. And then you're asking these same group of people to suddenly trust that this was all on the up and up. There is no list, that everything is as it appears, and they're just not going to buy it. And what's always interesting to me is like what it takes people to get off the Trump train. It's not the xenophobia. It's not the racism. It's not the bigotry. It is this.
But are they off the Trump train? I mean, I think this is the part of what Charlotte is saying that I'm not so sure. Because I think that they really don't want to be off the Trump train. They want to be on the Trump train. They just want Trump to get in line with them on this issue.
I think that's exactly right, Abby. Look, I think for Trump, it does feel a little bit like the lady doth protest a little too much, right? But when it comes to his approval rating with Republicans, it's basically as solid as it ever was. You know, you put it up on the graphic before where you saw the smallest decline was among Republicans. If you look at the average of polls, his approval rating with Republicans still at about 90%. Of course, those same Republicans say they are dissatisfied with the amount of information that's been released so far. Everyone is dissatisfied with the amount of information that's been released so far with concern to the Epstein files. Everyone thinks that there's something more going on there. But then making that leap to all of a sudden that his base is moving away from him, at least at this particular point in the polling data, we're not seeing it.
And that's actually accurate. So Trump needs to release information and start indicting the deep state for all their other crimes. All right, we're going to go to break, start the next hour. I'm going to get into the huge on all the illegal aliens they're housing in 4-star hotels. The police have been beating people up who are peacefully protesting. And then Starmer's been censoring it and blocking it on the internet using this so-called, Cyber Internet Safety Act, which is exactly the same type of crap Europe's passed, and now they want to pass in Canada and the U.S. So that's coming up. I want to get into Israel and their main leading human rights group saying it is genocide. That's a big deal because it's Israel saying it. And I want to get into Trump with this new deadline for Russia and why that's so important. The latest on Crossfire Hurricane. I don't have time to play this whole thing, but here's part of Trump's top financial advisor, Howard Lutnick, who helped develop a lot of these economic plans. It's certainly working so far. Talk about what a big deal this white flag concession by the unelected EU Commission is on $1.3 trillion of investment, energy purchases, and then all the other stuff they've accepted to open up their markets, the U.S. automakers and more. I mean, this is massive. Here's part of what he had to say.
I sat down with Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick to discuss the president's goals during this trip and news of a check that might be coming to your mailbox. Mr. Secretary, welcome back to Fox News Sunday.
Great to be here.
Okay, August 1st, that deadline is coming within a matter of days. Will there be any more grace period, any more extensions, and what deals are closest to getting done at this point?
Okay, so no extensions, no more grace periods. August 1st, the tariffs are set. They'll go into place. Customs will start collecting the money, and off we go. Obviously, after August 1st, people can still talk to President Trump. I mean, he's always willing to listen. And between now and then, I think the president's going to talk to a lot of people. Whether they can make him happy is another question, but the president's definitely willing to negotiate and talk to the big economies for sure.
Okay, so folks are nervous. We have brand new polling on that this week. And when we asked in our Fox News polling how people are feeling about things, the president is underwater by double digits on the economy, on inflation, and tariffs. And they may be reacting to reports like this one from the Yale Budget Lab, estimating that Americans now face the highest tariff rate since 1910, an average cost of $2,800 per household this year. So you keep saying Americans are going to love these deals. They're very skeptical and they're worried at this point.
Well, I think you'll see as they flow through the market, but what's going to happen is very few products are actually going to move their price, and basically $700, $800 billion, maybe it's possible we get near $1 trillion of revenue will come into the United States of America, reducing our deficit, And what do you think is paying for no tax on tips, no tax on overtime, no tax on Social Security, right? These are the monies that are going against that. So I think if you take a look at the whole thing, it's going to be fantastic.
Okay, so looking at a PolitiFact report, they cite the Congressional Budget Office, which I know you guys feel like does not take in all of the necessary growth factors and those kinds of things. But they say this, an analysis by the CBO projects that 10 years of tariff revenue increases under Trump won't pay for the added deficits from his bill, meaning the one big beautiful bill, or the cumulative deficits over the next decade. The projected added deficit from the bill is $3.4 trillion. On top of the existing projected deficit over the next decade of $21.8 trillion. They say the tariff math doesn't add up. Your response?
So the tariff revenues are amazing, right? $700 billion a year. That's just net new money the government never had before. So you take that every year for 10 years, that's $7 trillion. And then what they're not counting is the way the president is smashing open these markets. You got every market, right? Japan, Indonesia, Vietnam, you name the deal he does, and he opens that market. That's going to have export growth, right? Never before has our ag and our industrials actually had access to these markets.
Benjamin Netanyahu has been in power off and on for 25 years. His fingerprints are all over 9/11 with the neocons. Israel helped create Hamas. They stood down on October 7th. I don't support Islam. I don't support Hamas or Hezbollah. But see, I don't just sit here and one-dimensionally go, well, I'm for Israel or I'm for the Muslims. No, I don't like any of it. And I don't like Hezbollah and Hamas, and I don't like them attacking Israel. But as I said back at the time, and people took the clip out of context when I was on Bannon, they used like 17 seconds, I said, only way Israel can actually get rid of Hamas is if they carpet bombed and destroyed everything. But they shouldn't do that because it'll kill a bunch of civilians and would be a total disaster and kill a bunch of innocent people and destroy Israel's image in the world. You know, that's what I said in the full statement, but people put out a 17-second clip where I wargamed the fact that it looked like they were just going to carpet bomb the whole place, and I said that a week into it. No, I did not support it then. I did not support it now. And I was going to cover this Friday. It just got busy. Plus, I have this thing about researching things. It was so horrible looking at the starving kids. I mean, we got videos of babies starving to death and little kids, hundreds a day. I mean, it is the most nightmarish crap you've ever seen. And I've just decided to go ahead and show it. I sent it to you Friday. I mean, this is not the hardcore stuff. You just go to X and type in starving Gazans. And I mean, it is next level bad. And then Israel puts out disinfo, the Israeli government, that, oh, the UN trucks won't bring it in. Yeah, because you blow them up when they come in. And then Israel's been caught grabbing the food and burning it in pits. That's all confirmed. And nobody will take the Palestinians. And Saudi Arabia has offered to come in and create a demilitarized zone and put a bunch of money into it and be friends with Israel. But Israel wants it for a ship port. They want the natural gas off the coast, trillions of dollars of it. Okay, that's enough. I just can't look at it. Thanks. I won't show some of it. It's too much. But then one side of me is like, well, we got to show it so it stops. Fine, just keep showing it, but I'm not looking at it. So the world is watching this. It's a reality TV show, but for real. And the videos of the Israelis raping people, men, women, children is coming out. And then now, because of the internet, everybody's got the different Israeli leaders and rabbis saying, you know, the Americans are our slaves. It's their lot to do our bidding, to, you know, kill our enemies. And these Palestinians are all orcs, so they all deserve to die. I mean, look, if I wanted to make Israel look bad right now, I could sit here with hours of the most vicious, foaming at the mouth stuff. And this is on national Israeli TV. It's in Hebrew. Now, I get it. I can show you Palestinians on their TV saying, it is okay under Islam to rape the women of the Jews. So when we occupy them, we rape their women. You know, it's just tribal, sick, evil. So I do not endorse the Hamas TV shows saying rape the Israeli women. I do not endorse any of it. It's like coming up, we covered it, and now everybody's covering it. They had a jazz festival in Cincinnati, and a bunch of white people coming out of bars just got beaten by black people because they were white. And the corporate media tried to cover it up, and they said it was racist to cover it. Statistically, there's a lot of black on white crime. Most blacks aren't doing it, but there's a large minority of blacks that hate white people and just do it. And it's an epidemic. And then you get all these different Democrat leaders saying there's an epidemic of whites attacking blacks and Asians. Basically doesn't even exist in the crime statistics. But to be fair, I got footage of a bunch of bikers beating up a black guy at a bar because he argued about a tab. And clearly it's a black guy at a bar. They all feel powerful because he's the only black guy and there's 20 white people. And they go over there and beat him up. And it makes me ashamed as a white person to watch that. And we're going to play that. But statistically, for every time that happens, there's at least 15 times that blacks do it to whites. So it's wrong when blacks do it. It's wrong when whites do it. And it's cowardly and it's disgusting. In fact, I hate watching the white people beat up the black guy who argues about his bill. Worse than I like seeing the white people beat up, because then I can say, wow, those are terrible racist black people. Watching white people cowardly, 20 of them beat up this big black guy and just beat the hell out of him once they get him down to the ground is disgusting. Now, if you're a racist black person, you want to pick some white person to fight, pick a big man. Same thing. If you're a racist white person, you want to be a black person, go pick a tough-looking black man and you take him on. That fine. But you don't have 20 blacks gang up on some white woman. You don't have 20 whites gang up on some black guy and then beat him on the ground. It's all disgusting crap. And we're all getting fluoride put in our water. They're pushing poison shots on all of us. They're trying to cut all our sons' dicks off and our daughters' breasts off. And we're sitting here beating each other up over what color our skin is. But when white people do wrong things to black people, it gets put all over the news. But when black people do it to white people, they get covered up. And it's creating a massive undercurrent of whites becoming extremely anti-black. And I would rather everybody stop this behavior and we all become anti-globalists. How's that sound? That's the real enemy, okay? But we're all beating the hell out of each other for no reason. Old Bill Gates is sliding in. And the school's teaching your son that he's really a girl. You need to keep your eyes on the real enemy. But I watch these videos, and those black people are lucky I wasn't there, because this is a guy. I mean, it just nothing flips my switch than like a whole bunch of people attacking me, because then I go into kill mode. But the point is I don't want to hurt people just because of what color they are. But I was rooting for the black guy when the 20 white people beat him up, and I'm rooting for the white people when the 20 black people beat them up, because we all root for the underdog. It is cowardly to gang up on somebody. But I'm digressing. I haven't got to that yet. Back to Israel, and that's the same subject. You've got this super high-tech military that magically stood down for 7.5 hours on October 7th, and they are systematically, I mean, if I wanted to demonize Israel, I mean, I don't want to, but I have to go ahead. It's not, my problem, I need to cover this more. It's very painful to watch these videos, and I really don't want to turn the show into a snuff film. But every day, without trying to look, I see a little Palestinian boy trying to fish, and they shoot him right between the eyes and blow his head off on camera. Or you got little kids playing hopscotch in rubble, and a 1,000-pound bomb drops on them. And My problem is I'm not like a dog that vomits and goes back to it. I watch this stuff to know what's going on, and then I have this, it's very hard for me to put it on air and to look at it again because it just, I have empathy. And then I remember, though, on average, the Muslims are so tribal and crazy. We bring them over here, they'll do that to us. But that doesn't mean, though, Israel's just got a right to kill them all and act like them. And those little kids don't deserve that. That's why we have chivalry. If Israel would have taken out the leadership of Hamas day one, they would be seen as the victims and have total support and be very popular. Israel in Gallup poll is now the most unpopular country in the world. And a lot of people go, good, we hate Israel. They'll soon be driven to the ocean. They got probably 1,000 nuclear weapons, dumbos. It's like everybody that's anti-Russia. I'm not anti-Russia, but at the same time, I don't think they're perfect. I don't want to keep escalating war with them because we'll have a nuclear war and we'll all die. Same thing with Israel. All you people want Israel to go away. It's not going away. Unless Israel continues to act like the reincarnation of Adolf Hitler under Benjamin Netanyahu. Because remember, Israel is supposed to be the underdog that got driven out of their country, so they came back to Israel. You can't now make the Palestinians death march out into the Egyptian desert and do a replay of what Ramses II did to the Jews. You are now the villains in the eyes of the world. And, you know, and the Israeli troops breaking in people's houses, beating up their women and children, crapping in their house, putting on the women's clothing, acting like just nutcases. And then they don't even get in trouble. Can you imagine what our military would do if our troops not just did that stuff, but shot video of it and posted? I mean, Israel, it's like, let me give Israel a little newsflash. And I know a lot of the Israelis know this. That's why the majority of them don't like Netanyahu. You're your own worst enemy. Okay? So I don't want you driven in the ocean. I don't want to kill you. I'm not your enemy. I don't want Netanyahu using his guinea pigs for shots. You know, he says you're going to be the new guinea pig center. I know you're all hyped up and, you know, it's peer pressure and you're feeling good and boy, we're going to kill everybody. You're killing yourself right now. So Israel's got a big problem. And we've got a big problem because they control a lot of our foreign policy and the Epstein thing and all of it. And I'm telling you, I have never seen anything like this. I mean, the anti-Israel sentiment in the streets is, let's not say 100 times anything I've ever seen? 500 times? I can't quantify it. And I'm not like here the defender of Israel either. I just understand like Israel's like Russia. It ain't going nowhere unless it takes us with it. So I see it as like a doomsday switch. And I'm just like, and you got Netanyahu over there acting like baby Hitler. And I'm like, make it stop. Make it stop. Make it stop. And then they blow up the international aid trucks and it's blow up the Christian churches. Oh, sorry, accident again. Yeah. And the Israelis are dancing, laughing as they blow up the church. I mean, here's a news flash to Netanyahu. If you're going to commit war crimes, how about you not post it and celebrate it? But see, it's called chutzpah. Everybody's got bravada. Everybody's got hubris and arrogance. We all have it. But they got a special Yiddish word for it, chutzpah. And I think it's been said, I don't want to give them the grand title of chutzpah. I mean, everybody's got a lot of bravada and a lot of machismo. Let's just say the Jews aren't lacking in it. Might be the champions of it. And pride goes before a fall. And machismo's gotten a lot of people killed. So I don't have a bunch of hubris because I got too much horsepower. I got too much power. When you got a lot of power, what Spider-Man say, you gotta have a lot of responsibility. And Israel's not acting like that. And Israel's got Armageddon written all over it. Israel's got doom written all over it. And I'm just like a signpost, like Death Valley, this way death. You probably want to turn back. That's all. Ben Shapiro called me anti-Semitic. Oh, great, Ben. Great. Just keep reading your talking points from Netanyahu, you idiot. You moron. I don't like the communist Chinese government. I don't want nuclear war with the Chinese. I care about the Chinese people. I don't like Kim Jong-un, but I like the North Korean people. I don't like all these Islamist leaders. I don't hate their people. It's bad, folks. It's bad. In a first, leading Israeli rights group accuses Israel of Gaza genocide. The former head of Israeli intelligence, the former head of their army all came out last week and said, you are destroying Israel in the eyes of the world. And Netanyahu goes, I don't care. F everybody. Okay. Two of Israel's best-known human rights groups said today that Israel was committing genocide against Palestinians in Gaza, adding fuel to a passionately fought international debate or whether the death and destruction there have crossed a moral line. Oh, I think it's crossed a line a long time ago. The two groups, I can't pronounce Hebrew, but Teslim and a rights monitor document the efforts of Israeli policies on Palestinians and Physicians for Human Rights. Both are highly respected top groups in Israel. Their announcement was the first time major Israeli rights groups have publicly concluded the Gaza war is genocide, an assessment previously reached by the same organizations like Amnesty International. And again, when the UN comes out and says Israel's doing genocide, it's true, but it's like the grand Satan telling a cross-eyed demon it's a devil worshiper.